All right, March 14th, 2021, we're gonna do a cardio interval piece for different interval times. We have 8 movements we're gonna go through. We're gonna go through them 4 times. That's the WOD. Before that, we're gonna warm up, do your general warm up, move the things that you know you need to move, and then we're gonna activate. So we got 3 minutes of some different activation pieces. We're gonna do a bear crawl for a minute. So the bear crawl, your knees can be low, or they can be a little bit straighter, sort of like a downward facing dog. When you're moving, you want to move your right hand first, and then your left leg, and then from there, you can kind of get the coordination. You just don't want to be moving the left side and the right side at the same time. You do want to kind of coordinate that. It doesn't matter if your knees are low or they're high, it changes the movement. Just be deliberate. If your knees are low, it's definitely going to work a little more core. Once you're up in that down dog or the A-frame, core is kind of off, but it is a nice hamstring stretch. Regardless, because you're going for time and not distance, we're going to go as slow as possible. So take your time, be conscious of your movements. You might even really stretch out that arm and hold that position, and then do the other side stretch out so that you're moving that spine around. So that's for a minute. Rest if you need to. Then we're going to do single leg play. So first thing, I would suggest bouncing a little bit. So you have a full minute, so maybe bounce for 10 seconds or so, and then playing with your balance. So that means I'm actually going to try to move around and mess with my balance, so to speak. So I can do some movements. Usually my upper body moves the opposite way of my leg just to keep my balance, or you could just move the bottom leg. You can also do some squats. Like I said, play with it. There's no wrong. You can go in front, you can go behind, and then you'll do the other side for a minute. Again, bouncing first and then playing with that. So that's 3 minutes. Then the actual WOD, we have 8 movements that we're gonna go through. They're all kind of like higher intensity and high heart rate. The first time you go through all 8, you're gonna do each one at 60 seconds. So a full minute, and then you'll rest 10 seconds in between. Then the next time you do all 8, you're gonna drop the time down to 45 seconds. Then you'll do it for a third round at 30 seconds, and the last and fourth round is only 20 seconds. So after you get done with all 8, you'll have to stop really quick and reset your timer interval, and that is just quick. So you'll get to the phone, reset it, maybe get a sip of water, and then go back at it. So you're really trying to keep that time from resting too much. I would say no longer than a minute. This whole workout will take you anywhere from 26 to like 30 minutes, depending on that transition time. Okay, so in your SmartWOD timer, you're gonna choose Tabata setting, 8 rounds, 60 seconds of work, and then 10 seconds of rest. Like I said, that work is what will change, but we're gonna keep the 10 seconds of rest. All right, so the first one is Heisman, or like a 1-2 knee. So the Heisman trophy kind of looks like this, so that's what it is. It's a lateral high knee, and then I'm bringing my knee up. So I call it a 1-2 knee, 1-2 knee. So that's what it looks like, slow. And then as you're going, you're gonna get faster and faster. So that first minute might just be kind of consistent like this. And then as you drop down, especially the last 2, that 30 and that 20 seconds, I expect that pace to get faster as you go. So you might be going a little higher with that knee, you might be covering more distance, but whatever you're doing, you're trying to get the heart rate up. Unlike a traditional CrossFit workout where we're trying to get as many reps in as easy as possible, it still work, but in this period, you have to actually try to get your heart up. That's the whole goal. So if we were looking at a score, it would be heart rate monitor, how high can I get it? Okay, so that's your 1-2 knee. Then you have burpees, which you guys are probably familiar with. We definitely want to make sure that we're going for that knee push up and then jump. And the only thing different with this one is I'm actually going to jump as high as I can. So sometimes we have like a target, sometimes we clap our hands. I've seen people come up and their feet leave the ground and they're good to go. With this one, I actually want you to jump as high as you can. So that's gonna be the effort there. And then nice full push up on the way down. Again, for the first minute, be really consistent. And then as the times drop down, you're trying to go quicker only from where you were. So if you were here, you're just trying to go a little bit faster. If you were here, a little bit faster. We're not trying to go from a nice even pace to the fastest thing you've ever done that's out of control, okay? Third piece is gonna be high knees, which is pretty simple. With the high knees, it's a consistent knee. So what I don't wanna see is this. You don't wanna do that, okay? So If your knees are low and that's as high as you can get them, that's better. It's that quick turnover that's really safe for the hips. If I'm really trying to get my knees up high, I'm kind of like landing a little bit harder on my hips. So to keep this high intensity but low impact, we're gonna go for that faster piece. So I'm getting my knees up, but I was keeping more of a consistent piece. The fourth one is gonna be fence hoppers. So hands are planted on the ground. I'm gonna jump from side to side like I'm jumping over something. It's up to you if you wanna bend at the knee or if you just wanna pick up the hips from side to side. It really doesn't matter. The first minute, because a minute sucks to do something like that, rest if you need to, but I would suggest going like 10 fast, 10 slow. I always do that. It doesn't matter what it is. If I have to do something for a minute, like jumping jacks or some type of core piece, I try to do a certain number fast, a certain number slow, or big or small, distance or short distance, so that I'm thinking about that and not thinking about the full minute. So I would do 8, 9, 10, and then maybe I would go slower for that second half. Okay, side shuffle touchdown is gonna be the next one. So side shuffle, touch the ground. With this one, you kind of have to figure out what hand. I usually do the opposite hand, but you might touch both hands down. You might do this hand when you're on this side, that hand when you're on that side. It's whatever feels comfortable. When you are touching down, I'm making sure that I'm squatting. Sometimes this leg is a little straighter, so it's kind of like a side lunge. That's okay. You just don't want to do this and like barely moving, right? I really want to be energetic. Again, I'm trying to get my heart up. That's kind of your goal. All right, handstand hops. So a couple different ways we can do this, right? You might just take one leg up and do little baby hops, okay? Maybe you do 5 or 10 and then switch legs, okay? Really, really safe. If you have a tendency to kick up higher, you might do this next to the wall just to ensure that you don't fall over, or just make sure you have space to dismount, like be ready to dismount. You could do both feet at the same time, even if, like I said, you don't really get that high. The single leg is kind of better. Again, if you want to do the wall, you can, but it's going to be the up and down. So you definitely want to do the left leg and the right leg. So just kind of alternate every few reps. Okay. The 7th one is going to be alternating jumping jack touchdowns. I love these. They're kind of fun. So I'm alternating my hands. I'm doing a jumping jack and then kind of like a squat in between, right? So it looks like that. I don't know, I think those are fun. And then the last one, 8, is gonna be your tuck-ups. So we're gonna do this from seated instead of laying back down. I'm going to bring my knees in and back out. So what you're kind of looking for is a straight-ish leg, and then like quad and belly sort of touching. You can also like do this, touching your knees, or hands can be down here, going in and going out. If that's too hard, because putting your feet all the way out is actually really challenging. So if it's too hard, then you can go to the ground and come in and come out, which I think is hard too, but you just have to find the one that's available. The one on our back is probably the one you're more familiar with, so I just wanted to spice it up by adding the V-sit position one. If you're gonna do a score on Sugar WOD, it's gonna be your 4 rounds of tuck-ups. So if you wanna count your tuck-ups and scribble that number down, and then every round you'll write that number down, and that will be your score for Sugar WOD. All right, that is your workout at home, cardio workout, kind of shake things up. I have, like I said, it's almost a 30-minute workout, so this should be pretty good, pretty taxing, so stick with it. All right, guys.